What is good, YouTube? I'm probably going to try and make this video in just one take, but no promises. So I want to talk about some reflections from 2025 as well as my plan and what I'm focusing on going into 2026. So considering that this video is going to be one take, there will definitely be mistakes in my speech, but I think that's actually a good thing because I can then gauge after a full year of how much my speech has actually improved. Raw, without any edits or any cuts. So I think that's good. Now, let me talk about 2025. So if I were to classify this year, I'd classify it as mistakes that had to be made and lessons that had to be learned. 100% that's how I would classify this year as. And the reason behind that is because I wasted so much time in 2025. I made so many mistakes in 2025. But at the same time, it is through making those mistakes that I had so many mindset shifts that are now setting me up for inshallah success regarding what I want to achieve in 2026. So let me talk about those mistakes. The first thing is content consumption. Holy crap, this took so much of my time in 2026. In 2025. It's mad. I'm not just talking about scrolling, by the way. That was one thing that definitely hurt me so bad. It was scrolling, right? It hurt me. It hurt my mind. It hurt my ability to focus, to feel things, stuff like that. But more than that, it was me consuming so much beneficial content or so much content regarding one specific topic that I wanted to learn more about that my brain just got foggy and messy and it was basically all cluttered. That's how I put it. The reason I say that is because I was taking in all that information, but I wasn't really implementing any of that. And so because of that, I have all this information going around my brain, but that information did not have anything to stick to because I wasn't taking any action, right? When you take action based upon the information that you've learned, one second. When you take action based upon the information that you've learned, it's like every single bit of information that you have in your mind can now stick to something. But if you don't take the action, then it's just information. It's just floating around your brain here, there. So based upon that, I wasted so much time because I would research about one topic, about, for example, let's say how to make better YouTube videos, but I just would not even make the YouTube videos. That's the dumbest thing in the world. You learn by doing. You learn by taking action. You start first, you put in the reps first, and then you learn how do I do the reps better. That is the most efficient way to go about it, but I wasn't doing that. So that's my biggest mistake. And another thing is also, I saw others win, but I lost myself. Right? I saw, John Mark move from his crib in Miami to his crib in Georgia now. I saw Luke Hopkins running 9:17 Ironman in front of my eyes, but like obviously not in front of my eyes, but through his videos. I saw his whole journey going from Ironman Texas, having, a 10:07 Ironman, which is still crazy, but not to his expectations. And then, having the Nice France Ironman, and then having now the Iron, and then having now a 9:17 Ironman in Ironman Arizona. I've seen the entire journey, right? Because I've been following for what, a year and a half, or seeing Nick Bear do his Ironman prep. I've seen these people improve and get better in front of my own eyes. Seeing Noah Anderson go from where he was at the start of this year, and even obviously in terms of Ironman training, but also in terms of his social media growth, to where he is now, it's crazy, right? I've seen, going from seeing, for example, someone called Cry, seeing him go from working his 9 to 5, barely being able to pay his rent because he was laid off, right? To now being a successful business owner. That is crazy. All that in just 1 year. I saw all that. I saw all these individuals win in front of my own eyes. Yet I was here losing, wasting my time, not doing anything myself, just rooting for these people, which is good. I mean, you should obviously root for people, but not doing anything yourself while you root for them is just a form of self-sabotage. So that's the biggest thing. And that is not actually because I would, apologies. That's because, again, I would watch so much content. I would see all these people win, but that was my high. Because it would make me feel like I'm doing something. I would imagine myself in their position. And then I would think like, oh yeah, I've done this, right? Subconsciously. When I hadn't done anything, right? So that was the biggest thing. And besides that, it was also bad habits, right? And obviously this ties in with, content consumption and seeing other people win, myself losing, because a big reason why all this happened was actually my habits. If I had the right habits, 110%, bro, this wouldn't have happened. Because I would, every single night, I'd tell myself, for example, oh yeah, I'm going to go to bed by 10:30. I'd go to bed by like 2:30. Why? Because I was like, it's 10 p.m., but I'm watching this YouTube video. Let me just watch it. I'll get it done by 10:30, go to sleep by 11. By the time 10:30 arrives, I'm like, let me push it back to like 11:30. It's fine. I can wake up later in the morning, right? And then slowly and steadily, I'd push that to like 2:30, and I'd be like, okay, no, it's too late now. Let me go to bed. You see, that's the biggest thing that I've struggled with this year, is actually just going to sleep on time. Or by on time, I mean like at least getting like 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. I prefer to go to sleep early, wake up early, but it's waking up early isn't hard for me. Genuinely, I can sleep 3 hours, still be up the next day. But obviously that's not healthy, number one, because I genuinely feel like, that's how I feel if I have 3 hours of sleep. But more than that, I struggle with sleeping early, bro. I don't know what it is. I don't know why this has started happening to me in the past 1 year. I don't know why. But just going to sleep early, like, I don't know why, bro. Even right now, it's like 11:30. I don't know why. I don't know, but I genuinely, I don't know. But this is the one thing, the one habit that has struggled, oh my God, that I have struggled with the most this year. Sleeping early. And obviously waking up early. Actually, not so much waking up early, maybe sleeping early. Because I would always find something to do to stay up. I delay sleep for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I just don't know the importance of it. I need to look more into that. But that's that. So actually, that's one thing, right? And then on top of that, I would scroll and I would, consume content. So that was the second thing. I would scroll on Instagram. I would scroll on YouTube. Because of that, I'd be up again to 2:30. That's what I was doing, which caused me to stay up late. But also, if I didn't do that, I would still stay up late somehow. I don't know what that is, but those two habits are the things that destroyed me in 2026. And actually, when you think about it, it's so simple. These are in 2025. These are the things that are supposed to be simple, right? Don't consume and just sleep on time. It's the simple things I struggle with the most, which I think is a very valuable lesson, because there's this person, or there's not person, I'd say more like an influencer, right, on Instagram. His name is Harab Wellness, Michael Smoke, and he talks about this thing. He's like, it isn't easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate it. It isn't easy, but it is simple. For me, it's simple to go to sleep, right? But for me, it's hard. It's difficult, because it's like, how can I go to bed at just 9:30, bro? It's so early. That's a concept in my mind, right? That I need to destroy. So that basically caused a ton of misery this year. Sleeping late, waking up late, and then scrolling, or content consumption. Those were the worst habits I had this year. Genuinely, I don't struggle with junk food. I don't struggle with anything else. I struggle with these two the most. So these two are what I'm going to focus on conquering this year, inshallah. But the last thing regarding 2025 isn't really a mistake. It's just an experience that I had, which was having 3 flare-ups. 3 flare-ups for my injury. So if you don't know, you probably don't know, I tore my supraspinatus tendon, right, in about July 2024. I found out that I tore it in September 2024, right? So I find out, then I get rehab from someone called Radber Meister on YouTube, right? I get rehab from oh my God, bro, I can't speak. I get rehab. What am I saying? Bro? I pay for his rehab, right? So I pay for I can't speak. Holy shit! It's good I'm catching this on camera, because I know a year from now, inshallah, my speech is going to be way, way, way better. So anyway, I I hire him as my online coach. Yeah, I think that's better. So I hire him as my coach, right? And I work with him for about like almost 12 months. Yeah, almost 12 months. I think 11 months or maybe 12 months. I'm not sure. But I worked with him for that long. And it took me 8 months to go from basically not benching like 3 kilograms, 3 kilogram dumbbells, to then basically overpressing about 37 kilograms for a 5x5. It took me 8 months to do that, right? Fantastic recovery. But the moment I did that 37 kilogram overpress, I pushed myself too hard. And because of that, I had a flare up. My injury flared up, right? So I had to drop the weight dropped the progression, went back to the landmine press, and started building back up again. Right, it took me about 2 months to 7 weeks, yeah, to fully get back to training how I was training. Right, get back to my old strength levels to be able to push myself. And then I felt amazing. Shoulder felt good. I started to push myself harder and harder and harder, and intensity slowly started ramping up and up and up. And eventually, I pushed myself too hard. I don't know why, bro. Like I pushed myself too hard, and then I had another flare up. So like 2 weeks into fixing that flare up, I had another flare up because I pushed myself too hard on tricep extensions. And so that really taught me something, which was I was trying to rush the process, and you just cannot rush the process. You need to trust Allah's timing. You need to trust the one God's timing. Because if you don't, right, and you try to rush something, you are bound to fail. Like I failed freaking 3 times to fixing this injury, right? Because I was trying to rush the process. I was trying to go faster than, or trying to, how do I say this? I was trying to go faster than what God wanted me. Yeah, okay. I was running at a faster pace than what God intended for me, right? That's the thing. That's the thing. So based upon that, I reassessed everything. I was like, okay, I've had a flare up 3 times. Why have I had a flare up 3 times? It's because I'm trying to rush the process. Okay, I'm gonna let it take as long as it needs. Let it take as long as, bro. Let it take longer. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna die. Eventually, if I just keep at it and I just let it take one massive, you know, block of just recovery, right? If I give it to that, well, I can't speak, but I don't know why. I'm good. It's good. I'm catching this on camera, but I'm gonna give myself one massive block, right, of recovery. And if I nail this right, if I really take my time with this, I should be fine, and I should not have another flare up, inshallah. So with that mindset, that's what I'm doing now, and I'm actually making better progress than I ever have before in any um flare recovery situation. I actually even forgot how many weeks it's been because I just haven't been counting. I've just been so focused on the workouts that come up every single week, right? So that's one thing that I learned in 2025, which was, bro, do not try to rush the process because otherwise you will fall flat on your face. That's one thing. Now let's talk about 2026. So what is the focus for 2026? The first thing is my relationship with Allah, my relationship with God. I'm gonna keep that private, but I just want to put that out there. You know, in case it inspires someone to do better themselves, right? When it comes to their relationship with Allah. So that's the first thing. Second thing is my physique, bro. That's the biggest thing, honestly. My physique. Holy crap, have I fallen off? Have I now fallen off? Like, what happened was, bro, I can't speak for some reason. Oh my God. I'm tired about it now as well, by the way. I'm kind of sleepy, so that's why I'm not speaking the best. But I fell off hard in 2025. And that's because I gave myself the excuse that, oh, yeah, I can't really train hard. So, I can't really build muscle or I can't really maintain my physique. And also, one more thing is I can't really cut right now because if I do cut, that takes away from shoulder recovery and I can't really do that. So, right now, I'm basically stuck with with an extremely mid physique, right? But this is what it looked like right now, as of January 1st, 2026. I look terrible. And by the way, this is what I'm used to looking like. So it's a massive difference. And the whole reason this happened was, let me explain, right? Basically, I wasn't able to train hard, but the small period I talked about, right, between my first and second flare up, that I was able to train hard, I was trying to bulk, and I bulked too fast, and because of that, I put on too much weight too fast. So all of that was basically fat, right, and water weight. So as soon as I put on that weight, right, I was gonna cut, but then I had my flare up, so I couldn't really cut. So I was stuck with that, right? So basically, I'm now stuck with that ever since that point. So that's why. But I realized I was like, my physique looks so bad. It looks so bad. My health is so bad. My sleep is so bad. Everything is so bad that I just kind of lit a fire within me to make this year the year that is focused on my health, specifically my physique, how I look, how I feel, and also my sleep and my nutrition. My nutrition is fine. It's not that bad, but I need more regular meal timing. Right now, it's usually like skip breakfast, eat lunch, eat dinner. I don't know if I'm getting my protein or not. It's kind of like that. So getting more serious and more intentional with that. That is the main thing. So that's what I'm focused on in 2026. Getting my physique in check, because I actually remember this, right? The picture that I just showed you, right? This one. This was on January 1st, 2026. I have this thing in my life where I go to my notes app and I write down how I started X year. So, for example, how I started 2022, how I started 2023, how I started 2024. I write that down, right? And I write down my situation. I add a picture of my physique, my face, and that's it, right? So this year, when I was about to, write that, make that note, right? I went to my bathroom and I took a picture of myself, my physique, right, which was this picture. I couldn't believe what I saw. I was like, what just happened? Well, how? Well, now, granted, the body hair make it worse, but I was like, what happened? Why I look fat? I don't even look like I've ever lifted a weight. I look so bad, right? And it's upon that I realized, bro, something's got to change, bro. Something has got to change. So this is what I focus on now. And I'm gonna do this which is actually my third focus for 2026, building the right habits. If I can just build a simple habits of walking more every single day, right? For example, 10K steps every single day, sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, eating 95% clean, working out or doing cardio every single day. If I can just build these small habits, then I am bound to get the result, inshallah. Because I'm doing the things that will get me the result, right? Every single day, and I'm getting better at them. So if I can just do that for a prolonged amount of time, then I'm gonna get the result, inshallah. It's kind of inevitable. It's kind of inevitable, actually. So keeping that in mind, this is the focus for 2026. Habits and routines. If I just nail that, nail my sleep routine, nail, my eating habits, nail my workouts, / my cardio sessions, and do that every single day, every single day of the week, of the month, of the year, I will build that dream physique, inshallah. I will build, the health I'm looking for, inshallah. So that's really the third focus of 2026, which is building the right habits and the right routines. And the last and final thing is, in terms of a mindset type stuff, is mindset type stuff, instead of a what did I just say, bro? sorry for whoever is watching this video, but the last thing I'm focused on in 2026 is my identity and my inputs. Those are the two things that are so important. And let me explain. So in 2025, the thing I was focused on was actually the output. I was focused on, am I getting this many subscribers every single week? Am I getting, for example, for example, am I looking any different in the mirror? Am I, seeing any tangible changes in my body? Am I, making more money? I was looking at these factors that are external factors, but the problem is external factors are a lagging indicator. Not external factors. External results are a lagging indicator. It takes time for you to see a result after you've been doing the inputs to achieve that result. So let me explain. Let's say that you want to lose weight. Let's say you want to lose like 30 pounds, right? And you start doing the things that will actually help you lose 30 pounds. You start, walking more. You start eating right, sleeping enough, and you start working out. Great. You're not going to get the result in just 1 week. You might lose like 2 or 3 or 4 pounds, but you're not going to lose 30 in just 1 week, right? Enough time has to elapse of you doing the inputs for you to lose 30 pounds. So I was focused on, why am I not losing 30 pounds yet? Instead of focusing on the things that will actually help me lose 30 pounds. And that makes so much more sense, because when you are focused on the inputs, not only do you do them better, time goes by like this. You are so focused on the process that you don't even care about the result anymore. You're just like, when it happens, it happens. Right? Inshallah, when it happens, it happens. And that's the exact mindset I have now with my shoulder, with healing my shoulder injury. I have completely forgotten how many weeks it's been of me fixing the strap. I have no idea, no clue whatsoever. Genuinely. Right? But I've been making so much more progress. And I've been actually enjoying this journey, and it's been going by like this. Genuinely. Right? So something magical happens when you start focusing on the inputs. And so that is my focus for 2026, focusing on the inputs needed to achieve the goals I have. Right? That is the main thing I'm focused on. Obsessing over the inputs, obsessing over input results. Seeing, last time I got, for example, 3 sets of 8 on the assisted pull-up. Can I get 3 sets of 9 this time? Right? Challenging myself that way. And I feel like if I can do that for the whole of 2026 and focus on the right habits and build the right routine, I'll go freaking crazy, bro. This year might actually be the craziest year of my life, inshallah. That's how I think about it. And the last thing is identity, right? So identity, how I look at it is this, right? To achieve whatever goals I have, right? To build the right physique, to have the right habits and routines. I will say habits and routines are more of an input goal, but to achieve, for example, a huge shoulder, my dream physique, learning the Arabic language, all those goals are output goals, right? And a goal is simply a future state of being. So what I need to do is I need to become the person who has achieved those goals. That means I need to figure out, okay, who is that person who has, by the will of Allah, achieved those goals, and I need to figure out what are his beliefs, what are his habits, what are his behaviors, what are his thought patterns, and I need to emulate them in my life right now. That is what identity is, basically. It's me figuring out who is the person I want to be, and then figuring out the things that he does, right? His habits, his routines, his day, his schedule, what he's focused on, how he thinks, how he makes decisions, how he operates, how he moves. I need to figure that out, and then I just need to start acting more like him. Because if I start acting more like him, eventually I will become him. And the moment I become him, I will achieve the result I want, inshallah. Obviously, a massive part of this is if Allah wills or not. You can become the person and still not achieve the goal, right? But it's still a good path to take. It's like tying your camel. That's what it is. So, really figuring out, okay, who is this person? And by the way, I call this Become 2.0. I call this concept Become 2.0 because 2.0, I love it so much because, right, it's not like I'm trying to become my 5.0 version. I'm trying to become the version I see next, right, who has achieved the goals I want to achieve. That is Become 2.0. And that is what I'm all about, right? So that is my focus for 2026, becoming 2.0, meaning becoming the version of myself who has, my dream physique, who has learned the Arabic language, who has a good relationship with God, right, who has the right habits, the right routines. That is who I want to be. And I sit down and I literally freaking think about that person. I think about who he is. I write down who he is. I write down his characteristics, and I try to become that person. That is the concept of Become 2.0. And that is the concept of identity. And that is who I'm trying to be, what I'm trying to embody this year, inshallah. So that's just a small thing. And the last thing I want to do is document this whole journey. Because I know it's going to be so sick to look back upon, bro. So sick to look back upon, inshallah, once we're done with this. And the amount of people that could possibly be inspired by something like this, because I haven't really ever seen someone go from having a terrible physique to having an amazing physique, and having terrible habits to having amazing habits. I haven't really seen that within my eyes, right? With my own eyes. By the way, I'm struggling to speak right now because I'm quite sleepy right now. I just want to go to sleep. It's like 11:40, I say, p.m. So anyway, so that's my whole goal. I want to document this journey. I want to share this with the world, and I want to hopefully help someone out and inspire someone and inspire people to do better, and kind of just like make this as something I can look back upon. That's really what it is. So that being said, that was my focus for 2026 and what mistakes I made in 2025. I apologize. Oh my god, I apologize. This was a terrible video, but it's not really for the viewers who are going to watch it now. It's more for the viewers who watch it when I've actually, achieved the things I want to achieve, inshallah, by the will of Allah. Yeah. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.